A few minutes. Okay, let's go to statements. Ivo Barra, are you taking the response on behalf of Jared?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chair, Internal Security and Administration, Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm responding to a statement being sought by Gerard regards the death of Ojwang.
Yes, go ahead and take into account that this is a matter that is very active in court. And if you say anything that is likely to prejudice the court process, I will stop you.
Well-guided Speaker, I know, of course, the issue of sub judice.
Go ahead.
And I'm well-guided.
Yes.
So, and it's true, Honorable Speaker, we know this is also a matter of a lot of public interest. Honorable Speaker, the Member of Parliament, Honorable Gerard Okello, did sort a statement on the floor of this House under the circumstances that led to the death of Albert Ojwang. And in particular, he wanted to know, report on the circumstances that led to the death of Alfred Ojwang while in police custody at Central Police Station, including the legal basis for his arrest and the reason for his placement in solitary confinement. 2, the justification of the transfer from Homa Bay to Nairobi County, and also the current status of investigation by the IPOA on the immediate administrative and disciplinary action that has been taken against officers who apprehend and transferred the deceased to Nairobi. And Honorable Speaker, you remember, besides, of course, this statement, Honorable Speaker, the committee took interrogation. They interrogated the IPOA and the IG also on the same matter. And I want to read the minister's response and give a little bit also the highlight arising from the members' interrogation of the IG and IPOA to include the latest update status report from IPOA. Honorable Speaker, I respond as follows. The Member of Parliament, this is the response from the Minister, the Member of Parliament for Nyando constituency, Gerard Okello, had sought the said statement, and I respond as follows. We are deeply concerned by the circumstances surrounding the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while in police custody at Central Police Station. Indeed, the loss of life in custody raises serious questions on procedural conduct, oversight, and the protection of the constitutional rights by the National Police Service. According to the information made public by Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kancha, the late Mr. Ojwang was arrested following a complaint launched by Mr. Elliot Lagat, the DIG of KPS, in relation to remarks made by Ojwang on his social media account, Pixel account to be specific. X account goes by that name. Despite the nature of allegation, it is important to emphasize that all arrest persons are entitled to the right enshrined under Article 49 of our Constitution. This including the right to be informed promptly of the reason for arrest, access to legal counsel, and to be brought before the court of law within the 24 days. In light of the above, the decision to place Mr. Ojwang in solitary cell and whether it was consistent with the legal and procedural provision remain a matter under active investigation. The preliminary autopsy has provided initial insight into the cause of this tragic death. However, the committee awaits the conclusion of IPOA to determine any lapses, misconduct, and violation of Mr. Ojwang's right while in custody. I'll reiterate our commitment to punishing to pushing for transparency, accountability, and protection of all Kenyans from abuse while in custody of state. In regards to the second question, Honorable Speaker, in regards to the transfer of Mr. Ojwang from Homa Bay to Nairobi by the DCI was informed that the transfer was necessitated by the nature of alleged offense, which was cybercrime. We understand that such offenses may have elements that transcend geographical boundaries, but it is imperative that such transfers must still comply with the principle of lawful procedure. Under the Criminal Conduct Code, Cap 75, matters relating to the jurisdiction is determined by the place the offense is alleged to have occurred or where its consequences are felt. Again, in our understanding, in cases where it is uncertain in which jurisdiction the offense occurred, the law permits proceedings to be instituted in any such jurisdiction. However, even in such cases, the rights of accused persons be strictly upheld as they are entitled to humane and lawful condition of detention. Therefore, the committee underscores the importance of ensuring that operational decisions such as transfer of accused do not override constitutional protection. The legality of a Ojwang transfer and whether it met both procedural and human rights standards remain a critical component of ongoing investigation. On the third question, Honorable Speaker, the case is already under active investigation by POA and other relevant agencies. From public statements, we are also informed that the authority has made notable progress, including the recording of statements from several police officers, among them the OCS Central Police Station and junior officers who were on duty at the time of the incidents. And the postmortem examination has already been conducted, and the preliminary finding revealed blunt force injuries to the head, bleeding in the brain, soft tissue injuries on various parts of the body, and sign of compression on the neck. The National Police Service, through the IG, has pledged full cooperation with IPOA. Similarly, my ministry is available to provide any necessary support to facilitate speedy and conclusive determination of this matter. Being a matter of significant public interest and national concern, we are hopeful that the process will be expeditious, impartial, and transparent, especially in light of the commitment made by the relevant authorities. And the last part, Honorable Speaker, the Inspector General of Police has interdicted 6 officers pending outcome of ongoing investigation, and these officers include Officer Commanding Central Police Station, Samson Talam, Duty Officer Samuel Nganga, Corporal Charles Muruki, and Police Constable Debian Lusweti, and Peter Kimani, and Evelyn Kanyiri. We are of the view that this step is necessary and appropriate measures to ensure accountability, to preserve the integrity of the investigation, the process the same, and will also serve an important reminder that misconduct and negligence within the National Police Service will not tolerate. And Honorable Speaker, maybe it's also worth to add to this that, of course, also the DIG, KPS had stepped aside the public domain. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I wish to give the highest assurance and commitment that we shall pursue this matter to its conclusive end for justice to Mr. Albert Ojwang and for the respect of law, rule of law in this country. And I submit, Honorable Speaker, signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the Secretary Cabinet for Interior and National Administration.
Evo Bara. Yes.
I will kindly, because this was a little bit, a lot has taken place, to give a bit summary from the IPOA, the latest, actually, as today. Honorable Speaker, in summary, as of today, or actually this letter was signed yesterday when I was coming into the House, and I have the update report. And Honorable Speaker, there's some noise here from the member. Soy.
Order, Honorable DK.
This guy is from. So, Honorable Speaker, I have a letter, the status update report from Ahmed Isaac Hassan, the chair of IPOA, outlining that so far they have done 8 arrests They have arrested James Mukwana and is in Milimani Law Court and is detained for 21 days at Capitol Hill Police Station. I'm saying James Mukwana. Sorry? Corporal. And the ruling to be delivered on the June the 20th. Next mission will be on the June 20th. It's good to know that. The second is Samson Talam, the OCS, also in Milimani Law Court, and they're detained for 21 days, pending investigation, and the ruling also to be delivered on the June 18th. The other one is, of course, also the deputy OCS, which is known as Nganga, and Kimani, which was also a duty officer. Also among the rest, Honorable Speaker, is 3 civilians. And these civilians are people who are alleged actually to have even committed the heinous act. Those are the convicts who are in the cells. And these are Gin Amunitwa, Collins Karani, Kelvin Mutisia Mutava, and Brian Mwaniki Njue. And they are all detained for 21 days at Mudagari and Kileleshwa Police Station, and they're detained for 14 days. Among the 8, Honorable Speaker, is also one person who is the technician who is alleged to have interfered with the CCTV. And he has been also arrested. And I think, Honorable Speaker, because the report, of course, is very detailed, and I'll also mention the number of officers who have been interdicted, and majority of them also are those who have been arrested. Honorable Speaker,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to go into the chronology of event, but it's also good just to note that we, in the report that I will table in the House, give more details on the chronology of event, starting from when the DIG made the complaint, both to EACC and DCI, as a result of the alleged false accusation by the deceased on his Pixen X account. So, Honorable Speaker, and we had also, of course, interrogated the IG and IPOA, and as a committee, and the report is here. But the majority are more similar to what had already the CS had given brief and what even IPOA had reported. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me appreciate that little effort has been made and there is progress on the case. But Mr. Speaker, on the specific questions that were asked, I'm yet to be satisfied. Mr. Speaker, what was asked was why, the first one was why was Albert transferred from Homa Bay to Nairobi? Was this legal? Mr. Speaker, this has not been clearly answered. In line with Article 49 of our Constitution, it's required that the arrested person be held near the place of arrest unless there are exceptional circumstances, and none were disclosed. The second one that I'm not satisfied with was what was asked was what specific online post led to his arrest. Mr. Speaker, up to this point, we do not know the specific online post. The other one was, the question was Albert's detention documented at the Central Police Station? Mr. Speaker, the response clearly should have stated that it was not. At least acknowledge that there were gaps in the manner in which his case was handled. They always say that the truth will set us free. So I would appreciate if the minister in charge or the cabinet secretary in charge acknowledge some of the shortfalls or the shortcomings on the manner in which the case was handled. And when you say the truth, even the people concerned, as much as they have lost their relative, will be satisfied that it was the investigation was transparent and the truth has been unveiled. And this has not been the case. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on the injuries that we're asked, can the ministry explain the visible injuries, including the bruises and the swellings, reported by the family and observers? The ministry or the minister only refers to the existence of postmortem without addressing the injury findings. Mr. Speaker, I would be happy if this matter is handled exhaustively. I am not fully satisfied, and this is the message. Mr. Speaker, this is something that has painted Kenya in a bad light. Mr. Speaker, yes, we make mistakes, but when you acknowledge, then we can get over some of these things and even now start talking about the reforms on what we should do as a country. I'm not looking at an individual, I'm looking at the image of the country. Mr. Speaker, what we saw yesterday, immediately after this Mr. Ojwang's case, what we saw in the streets yesterday, somebody brazenly shooting at a human being, Mr. Speaker. It means that it has not sunk. Even what we've been talking about and the country's outcry has not been received well by the police force. Because if that was done, Mr. Speaker, they would not have done what we saw, or instructions given out to them on how to handle demonstrators would have been different. That police officer has painted us in a bad light, and action, I believe, has been taken and he has been arrested. But for Ojwang, let us go the full haul, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Mukunji. Tongoyo, you can take note.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I also want to say the statement is quite insufficient. Honorable Speaker, from a far look, this looks like there's a lot of conspiracy around that case. And Honorable Speaker, I am appealing to the committee to go beyond IPOA statement. There is a need, Honorable Speaker, for this National Assembly to go beyond the issue of getting a report from IPOA and actually form a commission of inquiry to know exactly what transpired, that is supposed to be independent, that involves also everybody that is being mentioned. Honorable Speaker, there has been mentioned two gentlemen that come from my constituency. And Honorable Speaker, those young gentlemen who are actually cousins had been arrested because of a road issue, a traffic matter. They were released. And then when they went for their vehicle, Honorable Speaker, they were rearrested and taken in custody, and they are being forced to write statement. Honorable Speaker, I beg for this National Assembly to take the issue of police misuse and misconduct very seriously. Let us try as much as possible to correct the image, so that, Honorable Speaker, as my sister has said, we have to ensure the credibility of our nation is beyond reproach.
Thank you. Otienda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the response as read is grossly inadequate. But it is because of our system that we cannot expect our own colleague to give us sufficient answers, because he can only rely on answers that has been given to him. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Ojwang demonstrates monumental impunity and disregard to the constitution and the law to an extent that, as seen together with what happened yesterday, it demonstrates total anarchy and a danger of sliding to be a banana republic if we are not already there. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would suggest that to ask our colleague to bring better answers is to give him a task beyond him, because he will not get better answers. He is relying on the same police who told us that this was an issue of suicide. There is no way they can give us any better answers. Mr. Speaker, I would suggest that if ever there was a case where we should consider constituting an ad hoc committee, because Ojwang's death demonstrates what happens every day, except it does not come to the limelight. I would suggest that, Mr. Speaker, you consider constituting an ad hoc committee to look into what actually happened, and also to look into what happens to other persons in similar circumstances, so that the police can be brought to order within the constitution and the law. Mr. Speaker, there are so many gaps in that responses. Number one, for starters, we have been failed by IPOA. IPOA cannot, as the person investigating police conduct, attend a press conference where the police are explaining their own conduct. You cannot do that. IPOA cannot come and tell us that they have arrested people and they are prosecuting people for murder when the central suspect has not written a statement to date. How do you determine then who should be taken to court if you've not interviewed Eliud Lagat up to now? IPOA has failed us and we must call them to order. The other failure, Mr. Speaker, is in response to what now happened, the public outcry. I read the statement of 16th June 2025 by the DIG Eliud Lagat, where he says he has voluntarily stepped aside. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing like stepping aside in law. I invite, Mr. Speaker, that we look at the National Police Service Act, we look at Section 17, we look at Section 95A. Under Section 17, the President can remove the DIG, can retire the DIG, or can redeploy the DIG. None of those can be done by the DIG themselves. Under Section 95A, the disciplinary process can only be done by a disciplinary committee of the National Police Service Commission. You cannot discipline yourself by saying you've stepped aside. What does that mean in law? Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest that this whole issue is a charade. If you look back to the questions that were asked, before you are arrested, you are supposed to be told why you are being arrested. Under Article 49. This was not an arrest, this was an abduction. And to use the word arrest, as has been used by chairman, is wrong. And if it was an arrest, you are supposed to be taken to the nearest police station. Why would you be taken 600 kilometers? And when you are taken to the station, then the OB is not recorded. At what point then are you told of the reason for your arrest? And then you are put in situations where you are clearly have been set up to be killed. Mr. Speaker, I think we owe it to this country, given what happened to Ojwang, given what happened to those who are demonstrating at what happened to Ojwang, to the extent that the same police are now escorting goons, we are in danger of sliding to a total banana republic. And if the executive cannot bring us back on course, it behoves this House to do so. Mr. Speaker, I suggest we establish an ad hoc committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Tongoyo. Honorable members, from what I have heard and from what the chair of the committee read to us, first, Honorable Otieno Amolo, you can only set up a committee through a motion. There's no motion before me. But more importantly, I direct that the Minister for Internal Security appears before this House on Wednesday afternoon, so that those with questions, and the questions so far raised by Ivo Bara, Otieno Amolo, and Mukunji, be availed to him via Hansard, so that he can be able to be interrogated by the House on matters touching on the death of Albert Ojwang, taking into account the ongoing court case and the sub judice rule, so that we can have this House lend its strong voice on matters that we disapprove of, on the conduct of officers who are supposed to protect wananchi. So, Majority Leader Owen Baya, Wednesday at 3:30, the Minister for Internal Security to appear before this House. Is so directed. Yes, Tongoyo?
Honorable Speaker, I think on that one, I don't want to... Just one question, Honorable Speaker, that has come out clearly. As much as we all regret as a country, it was really a very unfortunate event, even to include what happened yesterday. Of course, we saw in the videos going around of a police officer shooting an armed, innocent Kenyan who was walking, doing his assault, which even inquired, we are lucky he's still recuperating in the hospital, although they say he was used a rubber bullet. Honorable Speaker, I think it's just good to appreciate that IPOA had really done a good job, because in speed 5 days, okay, it's me talking.
Order.
It's me talking. Honorable Speaker, as much as we invite the IG, the minister, what we wanted from the Internal Affairs Unit is full cooperation. And when we're interrogating, Honorable Speaker, IPOA themselves confirmed to us that the IG and his team were really in full cooperation.
Honorable Tongoyo.
Yes.
You can advise the minister to come with IPOA alongside him.
Yes. Better that way.
If he wishes to do so.
Okay.
Because under our structure of government, he gives policy direction to many of those institutions under him.
So I would suggest then you recommend that IPOA also join the CS.
It is up to him to decide who to come with.
Okay.
Yes.
Well guided.
Yes, I don't want to escalate this. I've already given direction. What's your point of order, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do appreciate that you don't want to escalate this, and because you have actually requested the CS to come.
I've not requested, I've directed.
Directed, thank you.
Yes.
You have directed, and I'm glad that you have corrected me one of a few times when I'm happy when I'm directed. That is directed. Let him be here. And the reason is because the issue of security actually resides in this House. And I know and I want to commend the committee because they've done a very good job. But the House, the entire House needs to be seized of this matter because it's our primary mandate to oversight the security. But Mr. Speaker, even as the CS is coming, there are other issues that are arising that we would want him to deal with. Number one, only 2 days ago, Mr. Onditi died in a police post in my constituency, allegedly by suicide. Mr. Speaker, again in, I think, Nyando or somewhere, somebody else died allegedly by suicide in a police post.
You know what you should do, Honorable Millie? File additional questions on the issues you are raising. And any other member who has similar issues, file questions so that we pass them on to the minister as he prepares to appear here on Wednesday and be at hand to interrogate him on all these issues so that he can be able to not only satisfy the House but the country on the situation surrounding Albert Ojwang, the Onditi you are talking about, the shooting in town yesterday, and any other matters within your knowledge that requires the minister to be brought to his attention and to answer fully to the House. Yes, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand guided, and I will be doing that. Mr. Speaker, yesterday when I was speaking here, I was informed that the person who was shot yesterday, who unfortunately I'm told has died, I don't know if he has died, the one we are saying was shot by, is not dead. or I'm happy to hear it's not dead, and I hope. Yes, that's just what I wanted to say, even though I still am appalled and I'm not happy by the way the police operated. It doesn't matter where it came from. Of course, it hits me more if it comes from Suba, because I was told yesterday it's from Homa Bay and Suba in particular. But I wish to tell the Suba people that he was not from Suba. We are still not happy that he was shot, but it's not from Suba.
Members of the National Assembly, you are members of the National Assembly of Kenya. It matters not where a Kenyan comes from. The pain of a Kenyan in Mandera, in Busia, in Homa Bay, in Kwale is the pain to all of you. And that is as it should be. Let's go on to the next matter. Go back to messages. That matter, hold your horses to Wednesday. Go back to messages. Robert Mbui, you will speak on Wednesday. The minister will be here.
Order number 3.
We are not in competition. You are a house, discharge your duties.
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable Mbui, I know you have said that to me elsewhere, and I agree with you. It is, you and I were shot at when we were together. My car was smashed. Honorable members, be here, Robert, on Wednesday. I'll give you ample time to reflect even on your broken and healed leg. Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate on approval of the fourth basis for allocation of the share of national revenue among county governments. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-4 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I wish to report to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding the approval of the fourth basis for revenue allocation among county governments in accordance with Article 2173 of the Constitution. Honorable members, the message conveys that on Thursday, 12th June 2025, the Senate considered and approved the fourth basis for allocation among the counties, the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. This consists of the baseline allocation ratio and the formula for distribution for the financial years 2025-26, 2029-30. For clarity, honorable members, the baseline allocation ratio refers to the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2024-2025. The formula contains parameters and the various respective thresholds to be considered in determining the criteria for horizontal distribution of the shareable revenue among 47 county governments. The parameters include the basic equal share, population, poverty, and land area. Honorable members, as you are aware and no doubt appreciate, the basis for revenue sharing among county governments is a very critical element in facilitating the seamless execution of the devolved functions of our county governments. Notably, the formula has implications on the division of revenue bill and the county allocation of revenue bill for the financial year 2025-26. In this regard, it ought to be concluded expeditiously and before the conclusion of these two bills. Honorable members, as contemplated under Article 217 of the Constitution, the National Assembly may consider the Senate's resolution and vote to approve it with or without amendments or reject it in total. It is worth noting that the decision of the National Assembly to amend or to reject the Senate's resolution on the formula requires the support of at least 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly, being not less than 233. So any one of you wants to amend, you must garner 233 members to support your proposal. Any one of you wants it rejected, you must also do so. Honorable members, in order for the House to commence consideration of the resolution of the Senate on the fourth basis for revenue allocation among county governments are directed as follows. 1, that the message from the Senate together with the accompanying fourth basis for revenue allocation formula is hereby committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee for expedited consideration. 2, that cognizant of the urgency of the matter, the committee is expected to consider the formula and submit a report to the House on Tuesday, 24th June 2025. 3, that the House Business Committee shall place the Senate resolution on the formula in the order paper of Tuesday, 24th June 2025 for consideration by the House. And 4, that the clerk is hereby directed to circulate the message containing the formula to all members and publish it on the parliamentary website. The House is accordingly guided. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, State House Girls, Dagoretti North constituency, Nairobi. And which was the next one? I'll reorder. Okay. Honorable members, we have also in the public gallery Tasia Bright Star School from Embakasi East, Nairobi. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, I welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Honorable members, you must have now received the supplementary order paper. It is in circulation already. If you check your system, you'll find it. We have done a response to question 1. I'll stay the remaining 4 questions until we finish the business that I will rearrange. For now, we go back to notices of motion, and I call the chair budget. Had you laid your paper? Okay, go to papers, order number 5. Lay your paper.
Order number 5, papers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 18th June 2025. Report of the Mediation Committee on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025.
Call out order number 6.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chair budget.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113 sub 2 of the Constitution and the Standing Order 150 sub 3, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 18 June 2025, and approves the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, Otienda, Mola, and Murugara, you had some point of order. You approached the chair to allow you. I give you 1 minute. And Murugara, 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that the chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee presented a report on the public participation on the NG-CDF Constitutional Amendment Bill. We are also aware, Mr. Speaker, that having read the bill for the first reading, we had to wait for the mandatory period as prescribed to elapse. Mr. Speaker, by my count, that period elapsed about 3 days ago. And by law, we should be on the clear to move to the second and third reading so that we can handle fully the question and issue of the constitutional amendment to the Constitution entrenching the NGCDF. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to seek your direction on the next step so that all members would be clear, because I'm sure most members would want to participate in the second reading, and certainly most members would want to be present during voting. And Mr. Speaker, given the schedules of members, unless this is made clear, we might have a situation where some members do not participate. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to get your indulgence and directions on this, including the possibility of having a discussion, an informal discussion, given that the time usually allocated, not all members may say what they need to say or be briefed. The possibility of having a kamukunji prior to such dates as the Speaker might direct. Mr. Speaker, I ask your guidance on this one. Thank you.
Murugara, 1 minute. Give him the mic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Maybe the supplementary order paper has not yet reached the Senior Counsel, Honorable Tiende Amolo. Actually, the matter is listed for debate today, but as he has pleaded, it's valid that these members are informed what this bill entails, what is in the report, and that we are able to internalize this and discuss it and debate it in a manner that is most honorable. But that is not my point of order. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've been accused of being a trade unionist by these members. It is not right, but I don't refuse. I do not refuse that tag, because we actually came to your office the other day last week to inquire about a very important and sensitive matter to these members, the RMLF, which is the roads money. You gave us a very good response, and we expected it to go the way you actually responded. Yes. But just about yesterday, we only got 6 million out of it from what had been disbursed. Yes. Maybe, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would equally join Honorable Tiende Amolo that if it pleases you and you wish to convene us in a kamukunji, then you also speak to us about the roads money, because the constituents are agitated, the roads are not in good shape, but most importantly, most of us have committed this money to do the rural roads, which we are supposed to do. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Order. Order, Tongoyo. Take your seat. Order, Bensuda. Take your seat. Take the nearest seat. Order, honorable members. Order, members. First, allow me to acknowledge the good work that is constantly done by a caucus of lawyers in the House, who from time to time are called upon to discharge pro bono services to the House in matters legal, court processes, and so on and so forth. This morning I had a meeting with the caucus members, not all of them, some didn't show up, perhaps because of inadequate communication, and they raised the issues that the two members have raised. I will direct as follows. Number one, the matter appearing at order number 13 on the supplementary order paper, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2025, be stepped down to next week for the simple reason that constitutional amendment bills are very delicate to the extent that once you move it, you debate, you vote for it as it is or reject it as it is. You are not allowed to bring any amendments on the floor. That's why we gave you time, adequate time, to debate this matter informally in a pre-publication form. And the Hansard shows that at least about 80% of members of this House spoke to it. But that notwithstanding, memories fail, people change their minds, people forget things, and so on. I have acceded to the request that on Tuesday at 9 a.m. in the morning, we congregate here in a special Kamkunji to again appraise ourselves on the content of this important bill that seeks to entrench GAF funds, NGCDF, and Senate Oversight Fund into the Constitution so that when we start the debate in second and subsequent third reading, we know that we have no opportunity or capacity to amend. On the issue of RMLF, I'm sure your officers must have advised you that some sums of money have been disbursed, and there is a process of re-engineering the disbursement of additional funds. I will then appraise you as well, and I've instructed the chairman of Roads, GK, member Fondia, to get in touch with the office of the clerk and the majority leader to appraise themselves on the developments on RMLF. But more importantly, again, I want you to acknowledge the caucus because the court did direct that Section 6 of the Roads Act is unconstitutional to the extent that counties are excluded. For us to correct the situation, the caucus, under my direction and guidance, are working overnight to come up with a draft bill to cure that anomaly that the court has pointed out, which will then be processed in the shortest time possible, including public participation and so on, so that within a month or two, we should have an amended bill that meets the constitutional expectations that have been directed. So once again, the caucus, on behalf of the House, we salute you for your not only offer of your time and brain, but the sacrifice you are making to make this House function better. Thank you. As you know, the caucus is co-chaired by the Honorable Otienda Amolo and Chepkonga. Chepkonga is out of the country, but we salute them for their leadership. Honorable members will then reorganize the business of the day. The remainder of the questions to be responded to will come after the committee of the whole. So we'll skip order number 8, order number 9, and order number 10, and go to the committee of the whole. And in the committee of the whole, the majority leader has requested that we step down the order on value-added tax amendment bill, which will come next week, so that we deal with the finance bill and the National Council of Population and Development bill. Equally important, honorable members, as you know the requirement under the law and the Constitution, I have approved requests for amendments from the chairman of the committee, from the majority leader, and from the honorable member for Navaholo, Emmanuel Wangwe, which will be prosecuted in the committee. Honorable members, I'll now direct the clerk to call out order number. Yes. Leader of majority party, there are some urgent documents for you to lay on the table before we go to the next order. Can you do so quickly? Call out order number 5.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, in the afternoon sitting. The supplementary estimates number 3 for the financial year 2024-2025, and the following accompanying documents from the National Treasury. 1.
Order, members. Kagombe.
1. Financial year 2024-2025 supplementary estimates number 3, program-based budget. 2. Financial year 2024-2025 supplementary estimates number 3, recurrent estimates. 3. Financial year 2024-2025 supplementary estimates number 3, development estimates. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, at 5, memorandum on financial year 2024-2025 supplementary estimates number 3. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable Wenbaya. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery Kambara Secondary School from Mavioya, Muranga. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students and their teachers and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Call out order number 11.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, will you be upstanding?
Order, honorable members, order. Will we take our seats? Order. All members, will we take our seats? The committee, the House is now the committee of the whole House for the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025. Order. Order. The Honorable Soro et al. Order. Could you take your seats? Honorable Chair, Finance Committee, are you ready? The Honorable Soro, allow the Chair of Finance Committee to do his job. The Honorable Soro, take your seat. The Honorable Soro. The Honorable Soro, what have you just done? So members, let's proceed. The Honorable Chair of Finance, I hope you are ready.
Provisions relating to the Income Tax Act, Cap 470, Clause 2.
The Honorable members, I propose a question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair, you've got an amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the amendment on Clause 2 be as per the order paper. This is a discussion we had yesterday on the definition of royalty. So the amendment is to delete the definition of the term royalty as proposed in the bill. Additionally, the amendment is to delete the definition of winnings and substituting that with withdraw. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, members. I propose a question that Clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I now propose a question that Clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question on all members that Clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. There was an amendment almost on the same terms like what we just passed by the majority leader, and I direct that the amendment by the majority leader then falls because this committee's amendment has been carried. Next.
Clauses 3 and 4.
Members, I propose a question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Because there's an amendment, I now put the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Members, I propose a question that clause 5 be part of the bill. The Chair of Committee, you got an amendment.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that Clause 5 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to remove sale of scrap as income subject to tax under Section 10 of the Income Tax Act. Additionally, this amendment is seeking to include withdrawals made by punters as taxable income under Section 10 of the Income Tax Act.
Thank you. All members, I propose a question that Clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chair of the Finance Committee. If there's no interest on that, I now put the question, members, that Clause 5 be amended as proposed. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that Clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Members, I propose the question that Clause 6 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you have an amendment to this?
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that Clause 6 is amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to require the Cabinet Secretary to make regulations regarding significant economic presence within 6 months. Honorable Chair, as you may recall, last December we did pass the amendment on significant economic presence tax. However, despite us passing this bill in this House, almost 6 months later, there has not been regulations that have been passed on the same. So this amendment is therefore requiring the Commissioner and by extension the Cabinet Secretary to gazette, to publish regulations to effect the significant economic presence tax as per contained in the tax laws.
The significant presence. Members, I propose a question that Clause 6 be amended as proposed. I now put the question, therefore, that Clause 6 be amended as proposed. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that Clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Members, Clause 7 has no amendment. I propose the question that Clause 7 be part of the bill. I now put the question, therefore, that Clause 7 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Members, I propose a question that Clause 8 be part of the bill. Chairperson, got amendment to this clause?
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 8 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, the amendment is seeking to clarify that both the investment in our stadia and investment in sporting activities would both be deductible for tax for those in the private sector that invest in these two activities. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. All members, I propose a question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the chair. It's about sports facilities being tax deduct. I propose the question, all members, that clause 8 be amended as proposed. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 8 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 9 and 10.
All members, I propose a question that clauses 9 and 10 be part of the bill. Because there have no amendments, all members, I now put the question that clauses 9 and 10 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
All members, I propose a question that clause 11 be part of the bill. Move on, you got an amendment, Chair?
Honorable Chair, clause 11 refers to an amendment on country-by-country reporting that requires companies, whether it's surrogate or subsidiary or parent company, and this amendment is seeking now to require the submission of the country-by-country report, since it is the same, to be provided, and it's provided as subsection 2, that it be in the same section. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
All members, I propose a question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 11 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Members, I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. So remember, your chairman, you got amendment to this.
Yes, Honorable Chair, clause 12 regards to advance pricing agreement, where you're saying where the taxpayer in an issue with the advance price agreement has provided false information, then that advance price agreement will be declared to be void. Additionally, Honorable Chair, this particular amendment is seeking to provide for timeline in which the Commissioner General, by extension, the Cabinet Secretary, will provide regulations on the enactment of this particular clause 12 in terms of timelines, giving them 6 months to gazette regulations on the enactment of this advance price agreements. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. It's an advanced pricing. Members, I propose the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Wunda, 1 minute.
Chair, as much as the amendment to subsection 5, subclause 5 is timely and important, I think the Cabinet Secretaries must also act in good faith, knowing the importance and urgency of some of these, the need to operationalize laws. We do not have to put for them specific timelines. It should naturally flow. Probably with the neatness, probably could even do that in the Social Instrument Act, so that all the Cabinet Secretaries know that within a certain period of time, once a law is in place, we must do this. Because otherwise, within 6 months, it's going to appear in all the laws of this country. All the laws are going to be known as within 6 months. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, just wanted to, in an earlier clause, the chairman reported that regulations were supposed to be done in 6 months and they were not done. I don't know that really we have been, in terms of the time frame, is this realistic? Because I don't think really we need to put time and then they cannot implement. I think we need to get assurance that at the end of the day, Mr. Chairman, that then when we say 6 months, we get regulations in 6 months or whatever needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Chair, this particular amendment has been necessitated by, again, the experience, for example, with significant economic presence tax, where the ministry requires us to make particular amendments to the law, but then they take all their time to issue regulations. And therefore, we are requiring them to have a timeline in which they must issue those particular regulations. And I think this is, even if it might be monotonous to repeat them in all our respective laws, but it's important, where we require the executive to to act on their part, to give them timelines in which they are supposed to act on, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Members, I now put the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 12 was amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 13 and 14.
All members have proposed a question that clauses 13 and 14 be part of the bill. And because there's no amendment to them, I now put the question that clauses 13 and 14 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
All members have proposed the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you got an amendment to this.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 15 be amended as the order paper. This amendment is to provide that the Commissioner should respond to an application for change of accounting year within 3 months and not 6 months in order to remove inefficiencies. Honorable Chair, again, as I explained in the previous two clauses, we are trying to make sure that the Commissioner is also responsible for timelines. So where, for example, that a taxpayer has applied for changing their financial year, we are reducing their time from the time in which they are supposed to respond from 6 months to 3 months. And Honorable Chair, what you're going to see consistent in the entire amendments that you're doing, where the Commissioner does not respond, then we are saying that that particular application by the taxpayer shall be deemed to have been accepted, so that we also give leeway to the taxpayer and not just power to the Commissioner, so that we also make sure that our tax system is not just fair, but it's also transparent and equitable, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Members, I now propose the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. All members, I now put the question that clause 15 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
All members have proposed the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. With amendments by the chairperson of the committee and the leader of majority. Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 16 be amended as per the order paper. This, Honorable Chair, is amending section 35(1)A, which currently exempts only specific commissions paid by resident air operators to non-resident agents for ticket sales. This broad scope leads to taxation of essential foreign expertise, even when such services are complete and available locally. Additionally, this particular amendment is provided for taxation of withdrawals rather than winning in the case of betting. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Members, I propose the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. I then put the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 16 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
Honourable members, I propose a question that clause 17 be part of the bill. Chair, you got an amendment to this. But before you go to that, the leader of majority's amendment to clause 16 then falls because we carried the committee's amendment. So clause 17, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 17 be amended as per the order paper. As you remember, Honorable Chair, the amendments we did on the Tax Procedures Act in December and the Tax Amendment Act in December brought various taxable deductions for pay as you earn. So where we said we deduct the taxable allowances before we calculate for pay as you earn. However, Honorable Chair, we have taxpayers have reported to us during public participation that we have quite a number of employers who are not allowing those expenses as tax allowable. And therefore, they are leaving now the employed, especially the employed Kenyans, to now claim that when they are filing their income tax at the end of the year. So therefore, this amendment is seeking to compel the taxpayer to allow for tax deduction those tax allowable expenses for pay as you want. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
All members, I propose a question that clause 17 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Omboko.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I want to support that amendment as the chair puts it, because that was a very vital law that we made as a parliament, so that when we are taxing the employees on their payslip, we don't include those statutory elements and deductions. Because when you do so, it's double deduction. In fact, it was meant to leave some more money on the payslips of the workers. Chair, is that correct? And therefore, I want to support it because it is very, very progressive. Remember, one of the biggest challenge we are facing now by the workers of this country is that there are too many levies on their payslips. And this was supposed to actually achieve a situation whereby they have some relief. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Wunda, 1 minute.
Quick one. It is possible, Chair, I support, 100% support the amendments as it was done before it's being carried here, but probably the failure to allow all deductions and relief could be out of ignorance, not knowing what was provided for. Not everybody is kept abreast with the changes in the law. Can I ask the chair that once the president assents to this bill and these changes, just run down all the allowed deductions, reliefs and everything, and probably do like the Mwananchi version, whichever you call it. Post it anywhere or circulate it. So an employee in the village who has employed a petrol attendant in a village that sells only 10 liters a day will not bother to follow all these processes. Okay. Just do Mwananchi guide, so Kenyans can know. Even Mwalimu Mboko doesn't know all these things. He's now and he's a teacher, a very renowned person.
Thank you.
Also these small things. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I would like to assure Professor Undo that Mwalimu Mheshimiwa Amboko is very conversed with these matters. He's on Speaker's panel, is one of the most keen members in this House to follow proceedings. But
the comment made by the Honorable Member for Funyula is a fair comment. That if Omboko doesn't know, what do you expect about the guy down there?
I was coming to that, Honorable Chair. We have, Honorable Chair, and on a very and on a very serious, Honorable Chair, one of the consistent remarks we got when we moved across the 10 counties in this country, they were saying our lawmaking process is too technical, even for fairly educated Kenyans. And they were saying we need to have simpler versions of the bill, of the process, and even in our communication. And therefore, this is a call to us as a House, as Parliament, to communicate better in a simpler language, to the executive that implement these particular proposals, to Kenya Revenue Authority to simplify them in an easier way. Honorable Chair, sometimes I have watched adverts from our entities across all the arms of government, especially the executive. Honorable Chair, most of these communications are in English. So we need to have even versions of our bills and our laws in vernacular, so that Kikuyu speaking speaker from Mukinyai in my village can understand, so that Tholuo speaking Kenyan from Ukwala can understand what we mean, Honorable Speaker. So I agree with Honorable Undo from Funyula that we need to simplify the way we communicate our legal making process, because sometimes, even for fairly educated and learned Kenyans, it becomes a bit too technical to understand. Honorable Chair, I've always said, sometimes even when we present these bills to Kenyans, sometimes the proposal is to delete a deletion. And therefore, even when they get to the bill, the proposal is to delete a deletion. So again, you have now to get the parent act to see what was being deleted, Honorable Chair. And I think we have an obligation to make sure we simplify our communication.
Well said. Thank you. The Honorable Mboko.
Honorable Chair, what that particular clause means is that once you allow the pay to be deducted on the gross, including the deductions, it means you are actually taxing the workers on money that will not go to them. basically that's the basis of it. I just wanted to correct that I'm the master of this, and that's why I raised it. It's a very good amendment, and actually, the employers must now be compelled to do exactly that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, members, I put the question that clause 17 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 17 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25.
Members, I propose a question that clauses 18, clause 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 be amended, be part of the bill. Members, those clauses have no amendments. I therefore put the question that clauses 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 26.
Members, I propose a question that clause 26 be part of the bill. This is an amendment by the Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 26 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is to allow for investment allowance for a spectrum license by a telecommunication operator. Additionally, Honorable Chair, this amendment is to retain 100% investment allowance deduction for investment outside Nairobi and Mombasa. Honorable Chair, as I said yesterday, this investment allowance for spectrum license is going to ensure that we have more coverage of network across the country. It is really unfortunate, Honorable Chair, that in 2025, we still have some parts of this country that there's no power, there's no telephone connectivity. And
are you
therefore,
moving
this particular amendment, Honorable Chair,
order,
is seeking
order. Which one are you moving?
20, oh, sorry, 27.
Yeah, move 26 first.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yes. Sorry. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 26 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, I want to thank sincerely Honorable Oudo, because he's the one who noticed this yesterday during the second reading.
And he has noticed it again today.
And he has noticed it again today. Noted that, Honorable Chair, that the amendment as proposed in the bill, Honorable Chair, would leave out payment of gratuity and pension outside public pension schemes. Honorable Chair, during a time when there are a lot of investments, there are a lot of savings, Honorable Chair, by Kenyans in other non-public pension schemes, it is very important that we don't exclude this particular pension and medical schemes that Kenyans pay outside the public schemes. And therefore, I beg to move that we now delete the word public from the bill, so that the law will read other allowances paid under a pension scheme. So which will therefore mean the import of this is that therefore payments made to both public and private pension scheme now will fall under would not be exempt, Honorable Chair, from income tax. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, members. I propose the question, therefore, that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the chair. And I want to give this chance to Honorable Mayaka. Honorable Mayaka has the floor. Honorable Wundo, this lady has the floor now. Allow her.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I also just want to support this particular amendment and also to just extend my salutation to Honorable Oundo, because yes, Honorable Chair, if we limit it to public, it means a whole spectrum of people who have investments outside that space are actually affected. And for me, Honorable Chair, also is just to speak to the matter of one thing that as Africans we experience, which is called black tax. This is very encouraging for people who are investing for their retirement and for people who are already in retirement, that they will not be taxed for this particular. And so yes, I support this amendment. Thank you.
Member for Keses.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair for the committee. Mine, I also want to support this particular amendment by ensuring that we onboard every Kenyan. You know, we are achieving the provision of the Constitution on inclusivity. And more so to say, the aspect that we want to encourage Kenyans to save for investment purposes. You know, there's something that we need to align. Kenya now, as we can say, it is on leverage level where we are borrowing much from outside than even from within. And we want to encourage savings by Kenyans, borrow from them, invest and develop our country, and they can derive the benefit and interest from their savings. So this is particular amendment is good. We want to encourage both private and public so that together, cumulatively, we can build our country together. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Kitui Central. Oh, no, this is your amendment, not so.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, I also want to support this. In this country, we appreciate that we have a lot of private pension schemes, Honorable Chair. So if we have not, before this amendment, Honorable Chair would have discriminated Kenyans. And I think it's important. Now, the way it is now, it serves every Kenyan. I support.
Thank you. The Honorable Wundo.
Chair, I just want to sincerely thank the chair of the committee. I raised the matter here. He didn't get the import of what I was saying. As we walked out of the chamber, I do know men, most of them deal with very more important things out of the formal arrangement. So I encourage there must be quite a lot of informal discussions. That's where we tied it up. And even I have evidence here, handwriting. So thank you, Chair. You are now listening, Chair. Thank you.
All members, I propose a question that clause 26 be amended as honorable members, I propose a question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that clause 26 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 27.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 27 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair. Now you can talk about those things of cables you're talking about.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 27 be amended as per the order paper. These are two important, Honorable Chair. One of them is to introduce an investment allowance for a spectrum license for telecommunication operators, Honorable Speaker. And I did say that despite Kenya having been one of the countries that has the greatest penetration of mobile network, we still have some villages across the country that still don't have telephone connectivity. And we are hoping, Honorable Chair, that once we provide this investment allowance, because spectrum license is a very expensive affair, Honorable Speaker, and therefore exempting this would incentivize our telecommunication operators to apply for this spectrum license and to invest in connecting the whole country, Honorable Speaker, into mobile connectivity. Honorable Speaker, additionally, this amendment is seeking also to retain the 100% investment deduction allowance that we had granted in December during the tax laws amendment bill to investments outside Nairobi and Mombasa. Honorable Speaker, we need to encourage especially companies to move out of Nairobi and Mombasa. It has two solutions, one creating employment in rural areas, Honorable Speaker, and also reducing the rural-urban migration and now the congestion that we see in our cities, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair, I beg to move.
Thank you. Members, I propose a question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. The honorable member for Kibwezi East.
Thank you, Chair. I stand to support the amendment to clause 27, and especially on the investment allowance, the spectrum increase, as it is going to cover more, areas, and especially the rural areas, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair. We are aware that most of the investments have been put into capital centers and the rural areas where we come from, and most of us where we represent, we are not having this advantage, and so I support.
Thank you. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 27 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, clause 28 has three very consequential amendments. One, Honorable Chair, Clause 28 was seeking to delete the tax incentives that we are granted to, that was giving preferential tax rate for companies that were constructing 100 residential units. Honorable Chair, we found this to be inconsistent with the government's agenda to provide affordable housing. And we're saying, despite now the government providing this particular affordable housing to Kenyans, it's also important to incentivize private sector to do the same. And therefore, we are proposing a deletion of that particular proposal so that we can continue to advance this preferential tax treatment for institutions that are building affordable housing for at least 100 units. This also is seeking now to again reinstate the tax incentives we had provided for local assembling of motor vehicles. Honorable Chair, I look forward to a time when you and I can drive locally made vehicles in this particular country. And it has been made possible before, but again, retrieving the incentives that were done to this sector would again disadvantage that particular space, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, the further is intending to reduce the tax to 5% of withdrawals made by punters, Honorable Speaker. But most importantly, on digital asset tax. Honorable Chair, when you make an investment or a transfer on digital assets, if you're using, say, a Bitcoin to pay for a particular service, the current law was providing that you would pay tax on the transaction amount. It is the equivalent of being taxed for depositing money in your bank. But now we are changing this from not based on the transaction amount, but by the fees the service provider are going to charge you when, Honorable Chair, you trade using digital assets. And again, this is very important because, as I read yesterday, next week we'll be tabling a report and moving amendments to the digital assets regulatory bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair, I beg to move.
Thank you. All members, I propose the question that Clause 28 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Member for Kitui Central.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Chairperson, I do support these incentives, but I want to make the following observations. If you look at our motor assembly companies in this country, and you look at the construction sector, there's a lot of monopolistic tendencies. And that means we might be benefiting very few companies at the expense of Kenyans not benefit from that tax. So I would wish that even as we move forward, it would be important that we open these sectors for competition. We need more firms to come on board so that when we provide these tax incentives, then we benefit many more Kenyans. I submit, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you. All members, I put the question that Clause 28 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will ask many of the opinion say aye. Will ask many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, members, that Clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will ask many of the opinion say aye. Will ask many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. All members, that clause had an amendment by the majority leader, but because we've carried the amendment by the Finance Committee, that amendment by the majority leader falls.
Clause 29.
All members, I propose the question that Clause 29 be part of the bill. Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that Clause 29 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, this is just a cleanup. In fact, the impact of this amendment is just to have a comma immediately after the word individual, so that the law now will read in paragraph 6(2) H5, but then the words an individual, then comma, immediately after the word where. So it's mainly a cleanup, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, members. I propose a question that Clause 29 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Member for Kibozi East.
Thank you, Chair. I rise also to support the cleanup. Chair, in law interpretation, a comma means a lot.
Correct.
It means a lot, so it can change the whole meaning, and so I support the cleanup.
Thank you. Members, I put the question that Clause 29 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will ask many of the opinion say aye. Will ask many of the opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that Clause 29 be amended. Clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. Will ask many of the opinion say aye. Will ask many of the court of opinion say nay. Ayes have it.
New Clause 5A.
Members, we got two new clauses. So the new Clause 5A, member. you moving new clause 5A for the second reading?
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 5A be now read a second time. Honorable Chair, this amendment is deleting the proposal is to repeal section 12D of the Income Tax Act. As you may recall, Honorable Chair, I think the Finance Act of 2023, we did pass a law providing for minimum tax. Honorable Chair, however, the courts have since declared minimum tax unconstitutional, and therefore this amendment is now seeking to delete that particular provision because the courts have since declared it to be unconstitutional.
Thank you. Honourable members, I propose a question that the new clause 5A be enacted a second time.
Yeah. Honorable Chairperson, how I wish that the Chairperson would have provided more details in terms of when you say the courts have declared unconstitutional. Is it leading to discrimination? What is really the issue? Because that is not coming out clear.
Honorable Chair.
So, Honorable Chair, Section 12D of the Income Tax Act is the one that was providing for minimum tax. It's a whole 12D, 1 and 1A. However, Honorable Speaker, this particular proposal was challenged in our courts and was said you cannot tax a loss. That for you to pay tax in Kenya, you need to have derived an income from that particular activity. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, requiring that businesses pay minimum tax would mean then they would be required to pay tax whether or not they paid, whether or not they derived income in Kenya. And therefore, it's for that merit that the courts declared that unconstitutional. And it's also important to note that that particular ruling was not challenged. And therefore, continuing to have this Section 12D in our books, is senseless. And therefore, now the move to now repeal Section 12D of the Income Tax Act.
Makes a lot of sense, honourable members. I therefore put the question that the new clause 5A be now read a second time. We'll ask many of that opinion say aye. We'll ask many other opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I now propose the question that the new clause 5A be part of the bill. I put the question, members, that the new clause 5A be part of the bill. We'll ask many of that opinion say aye. We'll ask many other opinion say nay. The ayes have it. We go to the next order. All members, I wish to recognize in the presence of the speakers, in the speakers gallery, the presence of students from St. Joseph Girls, Kipsaina, KO South Constituency, Elgeyo Marakwet County. They are welcome to Parliament to follow our proceedings this afternoon and to the Houses of Parliament. Thank you. Next order.
New clause 6A.
All members, I propose the question. No, I wish to call the mover to move the new clause 6A for second reading.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 6A be now read a second time. As you may recall, Honorable Chair, we did move an amendment on tax paid on digital assets, moving it from the transaction amount to fees. And therefore, this is a subsectional amendment that now is seeking now to introduce a new clause so that that digital asset tax is now based on the fees charged on virtual asset providers and not on the transaction amount. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose a question. The new clause 6A being read a second time. I think it's self-explanatory. And now put the question that the new clause 6A be now read a second time. We'll ask many of the opinion say aye. We'll ask many of the court opinion say nay. Ayes have it. I now propose the question, members, that the new clause 6A be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 6A be part of the bill. We'll ask many of the opinion say aye. We'll ask many of the court opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Value Added Tax Act, Cap 476, Clause 30 and 31.
Members, I propose a question that clauses 30 and 31 be part of the bill. Because there are no amendments, I put the question that clauses 30 and 31 be part of the bill? Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question, members, that clause 32 be part of the bill. Chairperson.
So, Honorable Chair, just to give a brief of where we are so far, the Finance Bill of 2025 was seeking to amend 5 different laws: the Income Tax Act, the Value Added Tax Act, the Excess Duty Act, the Tax Procedures Act, and the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act. So far we've now dealt with all the proposed amendment in the Income Tax Act, and now we are now in the next statute that now this Finance Bill is seeking to amend, which is a Value Added Tax Act. So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 32 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to retain the provision allowing the option to offset excess tax under any written law. And paragraph EA, we are saying that this was introduced to allow refunds for incidents of permanent credits arose due to changes in rates of tax. While the intention was to resolve an issue caused by legislation, the provision has failed to take effect due to technical drafting flaw. So, Honorable Chair, this particular provision, to avoid all the tax refund requests that KRA seems to get every time, that I alluded that we have only a budget of around 5 billion, despite tax refunds going to in excess of 50 billion shillings, Honorable Chair. Now, this is a cleanup to make sure that taxpayers are allowed to offset their current tax liabilities from excess tax that they might have paid, even if that was a different tax bracket, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair. That would mean that in the event, for example, you had overpaid your input tax, you are allowed to offset your input tax, whether from your corporation tax, from pay as you want, or from any other tax head that you may have in your tax obligation. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, all members. I propose the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chair. Yes, Honorable Member for Funyula.
I sincerely thank and I want to strongly support this amendment as moved by the chair of the committee. All taxes are paid to KRA. It is received, whether it's different accounts or what, it all belongs to KRA. So it should be simple entry, exit, then the bottom line. So this issue of compartmentalization, I don't know, this is VAT, this is payee, this is excess duty, this is a very progressive way of getting things done. I support and I wish you good life and long life.
Members, I put the question that clause 32 as amended be amended as proposed. Will as many other opinion say aye? And as many other opinion say nay? The ayes have it. But I now put the question that clause 32 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 33, 34, and 35.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 33, 34, and 35 be part of the bill. And there be no amendment to those clauses. I put the question that clauses 33, 34, and 35 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
Members, I propose the question that clause 36 is part of the bill. And that clause 36 has 3 proposed amendments. One by the Finance Committee, another by a little majority, and one by the Honorable Wangui. So if we carry the chairperson's amendments, then the other ones will fall accordingly. The amendments have been moved first before you talk to it. You have to move the amendment, Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 36 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, in as much as we want to clean the first and second schedule of the VAT Act, we need to be sensitive to matters that are of great concerns to Kenyans. And although this zero rate and exempt status has been largely abused by some of these enterprises, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, there's some commodities that are so essential that we cannot, that we should not move them from zero rate, Honorable Chair, to exempt or standard rate as proposed in this particular bill, Honorable Speaker. And we singled out a few of them. One of them being transportation of sugarcane. Because, Honorable Chair, why sugarcane stands out is because sugarcane is such a bulk item, such a heavy item, that one of the largest costs in value addition of sugarcane is actually the transportation cost of those particular sugarcane, Honorable Speaker. Secondly, is zero rating status of electric motorcycles, electric bicycles, Honorable Speaker. As you've noticed, nowadays, if you move around Nairobi, most of the boda guys and most of the taxi hailing services that do deliveries are both electric motorcycles and electric bicycles. And Chair, we noticed something very unique, especially the inclusion of electric bicycles, Honorable Chair, in our country has actually made even, especially ladies, now do that taxi hailing services even more. Honorable Chair, as you move around Nairobi, you'll see there are these motorcycles that have their lights on and they have something round near the steering wheel. So that's how you know. Okay, that's one of the ways you know an electric motorcycle. And this has been made because this House made a deliberate decision in the Finance Act of 2023 to provide zero rating status for local assembly of electric motorcycles, electric bicycles, and electric buses, Honorable Speaker. And we must therefore be consistent in our tax regime. We cannot December say, you're granting this exemption to you, come invest in our country, build electric motorcycles, build electric bicycles, build electric buses, Honorable Speaker, only for us to take away that particular incentive 6 months later. We must be consistent so that we allow investment in our country, Honorable Speaker. Secondly, this particular amendment is also seeking to clarify the following items as exempt: mosquito repellent inputs and machinery, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair. In 2025, we still have a big challenge with mosquito menace in our country, Honorable Chair. And I know from the region you come from, you know, the issue of malaria infections, the issue of mosquitoes is such a great issue. And therefore, we are hoping that granting this exemption to manufacture of this equipment that will be used to fight mosquito, Honorable Speaker, will go a long way to not just creating employment in Kenya, not just bringing investment in our country, but also in our fight against malaria. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Well, members, I propose the question that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the chair. The first bite on this would be the Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the Chair of Finance that he has really considered the issue of sugarcane transportation. And Honorable Speaker, looking at the component of fuel, by the time you get the costing of fuel into the commodity under manufacturing, already, Honorable Speaker, you've taxed the fuel. You already loaded onto it the tax component. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, by you again taxing it at the consumption level, meaning the production level, it would amount to double taxation, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I'm happy that the Chair has listened to it, and we want to agree with him, and I support.
Honorable Maungu.
Thank you, Chair. I listened to the Chair express the issue of that clause, and with regard to the sugar industry, Chair, I come from the sugar area, and I'm in support with what Chair, the gentleman seated before me is not allowing me to debate.
Honorable Bomboko, you'll get a chance. Just relax.
No. Chair, I'm not talking about Honorable Boko. I'm talking about Honorable Kaluma here.
Honorable Kaluma.
Interfering with my
Honorable Kaluma, this is not your chance. This is the chance for the Honorable from Rwanda. No, you are interfering with him. Allow him to contribute.
Chair, I cannot search for points from somebody who is trying to interfere with the flow of my thoughts, as Kaluma is trying to put it.
Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Mine was just support the proposal as given by the Chair. Thank you.
Member for Seme.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chair, I actually support. It's actually ridiculous. I don't know what was happening to us. How can you put tax on transportation while this person has used fuel? The fuel itself has been taxed. Maybe I didn't notice. I admit I was sleeping that time. So I support. And the issue of mosquitoes, anything that will actually help reduce the cost of healthcare is actually something which should be exempt. So I support these amendments.
Member for Muhaya.
Yes, okay. I have the mic here.
Yes.
Somewhat. Chair, did you give me a chance?
Yes, you're the member for Muhaya, not so.
Oh, thank you. You know, I'm easily identified as Mwalimu Mboko Milemba. I want to support that amendment. Number one, it really deals with the disease malaria. and makes it very easy for investment in that section. Number two, sugarcane, which the transport cost is higher than any other cost. But more fundamentally, Chair, is the issue of the electric motorcycles and bikes, because that's the way we want to go. And it will reduce our usage of our foreign exchange to importation of oil. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Homa Bay Town.
Yes, I thank you, Chair. Chair, this idea of zero rating, we may be postponing it, but we need to think about it very deeply. Because we are zero rating very many products, but we have no evidence that by zero rating, the benefit goes to the local person or the consumer. Look, for instance, this thing we are calling transportation cost for sugarcane. Number one, how do you prove that these products are being used on tractors? Any vehicle can be fueled. But number two, how does the benefit go to the local person? We've had cases, Chair, where a person, something like bread is being zero rated. I know we fear touching those things, and it is only for that reason that I'll support this. But the bakers, just instead of employing more bakers, the factory are employing more people to claim tax refunds. And we are in a situation where tax expenditure, we were being told by the Chair, is standing at 550 billion in a year. So we collect 2.4 trillion, but 550 is going into expenditure. Partly
into refunds.
Partly towards refunds, not because people are paid excess, but because people have a leeway in law to claim.
Thank you.
Yet they are not giving any benefit. So we may allow this for now, but we will need to review this once we explain to the public the nonsense that we are engaging the country in, because we don't have this money to give KRA to pay.
Thank you.
I thank
the member for Kitui Rural.
Chair, let me also support this amendment. Chair, the tax expenditure in this country, as it has been indicated, is 550. Of this, 60% is on VAT alone. And Chair, we cannot really say, because what is happening is that most of these manufacturers, they still input the VAT at the final product. Then they go back and claim input VAT. Chair, as we stand now, KRA is not able to do the refunds. So I support.
Member, the chairperson of BS Budget Committee.
Chair, I also want to join my colleagues in saying that until we become bold enough as a country or as parliament to be able to interfere with some of these zero-rated products, then I think we are not going to make good progress. Honorable Speaker, one of the strategies that we have proposed as Budget Committee towards realizing our revenue targets is to cancel all zero-rated items from the books. Honorable Speaker, as Kaluma has pointed out, some of these zero-rated items, we cannot even know how the public is benefiting from them. So these are taxes that we fear because of the perception that the public will complain. But in the end, it is the Kenyan taxpayers that are suffer. If we can be able to cancel even half of some of these zero-rated items from the books, we are going to save about 400 billion. Honorable Speaker, imagine 400 billion savings that we'll make. We are paying 1.1 trillion interest on debt. Look at how much money we will have for development. So going forward, I think that I want to request the chairman of Budget of Finance Committee that we can tabulate all these zero-rated items, and then we basically cancel them. We'll make good progress. Thank you.
Members, I now put the question that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will ask many other opinion say aye. Will ask many other opinion say nay. Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 36 as amended be part of the bill. Will ask many other opinion say aye. Will ask many other opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Members, the amendment proposed by the Honorable Youth Leader and the Honorable Wangwe therefore fall because we've carried these amendments in the chairperson's amendment.
Clause 37.
Members, I propose the question that clause 37 is part of the bill. Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 37 be amended as per the order paper. As we notice, Honorable Chair, on the bill, Now, having now made the decision on clause 36, because 36 was now deleting these particular products from the second schedule, that the zero rates. Now, clause 37 was taking them to exempt. And therefore now the proposal now to delete this particular proposal, because some of those products we have now carried, that we have continued to have them remain as zero rate, and therefore now the consequential amendment on clause 37 therefore falls, Honorable Chair. And I want to really agree with the sentiments that have been made by my colleagues. Our tax zero rate and exempt status, Honorable Speaker, has largely been abused. However, Honorable Chair, one of the temptations we should not avoid is now throwing the water and the baby with the bathwater. Yes, Honorable Chair. However, we have tried to cure this by creating a clause. 35. We have tried to cure this by introducing a clause 35.
36A, you mean?
And if I call you clause 35, that we are amending the VAT Act by inserting the following new paragraph: where a person imports or purchases goods or services which are exempt or zero rated, and the person subsequently disposes of or uses the goods or services supplied in a manner inconsistent with the purpose for which the goods or services were exempted or zero rated, the person shall be liable to pay tax on the goods or services at the applicable rate at the time of disposal or inconsistent use. So we are trying to tighten, even as we wait to clean up the first and second schedule of the VAT Act, to now try to require, Honorable Chair, that where someone uses the goods, as Honorable Kaluma explained on the transmission of sugarcane, in a way that is inconsistent with the reason why that particular good was exempt or zero rate, then they will be required now to pay the equivalent of that tax on a China. Hoping that KRA will use this administrative and legislative framework to try to cure the mischief around this zero rate and exempt status, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose a question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Wundo.
Chair, let me also join my colleagues in joining this debate between zero rating and exempt. As for now, Chair, the purported proposal by Treasury to move from zero rating to exempt would have automatically resulted in some minimal price increases, which at this particular point in the moment would have been a very bad decision in view of the prevailing economic circumstances. Again, when you meet many of the traders and the business people, they want some element of consistency and predictability. I totally agree that these tax expenditures might not necessarily benefit the end consumer. But eventually, we must find a way of putting a timeline when this, from zero rating to exempt will happen, so that everybody knows after 2 to 3 years, this is what will happen. But just all of a sudden, it was changes last year, another changes here, it's so disruptive. So as my colleagues have said, and let me throw to the committee, we need to start a process that can be predictable over time, that this will change this way, this will change the following year, so that everybody prepares adequately. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, once more I want to thank the Chair of Finance. By him now correcting the issue after the voting in the section 36, it puts to rest, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, any avenue for corruption. What is likely to happen, Honorable Chair, is that the tax agents will take advantage that this is not aligned with the initial provision in section 36. Now to even now go and find out more in terms of pushing the traders to give them more money for nothing. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the cleanup is important, is timely, and I would want to say thank you, and I support this amendment.
Members, I put the question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will last minute of the opinion say aye? Last minute of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 37 as amended be part of the bill. Will last minute of the opinion say aye? Will last minute of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members, there was a proposed amendment by the Honorable Wangwe, which falls because the substance of the same has been carried by the committee's amendment.
New clause 30A.
The Honorable Chair move new clause 30A for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 38 be now read.
No, it's 30A.
Oh, new clause 30A.
38 and 30A. Clause 30A.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 30A be now read a second time. This amendment is seeking to provide that the VAT payable on disposable realization of a security for a debt should be paid by the debtor. Honorable Chair, this new clause reads as follows. Section 5 of the VAT Act is amended by deleting subsection 3 and substituting therefore the following new subsection. The tax on taxable supply shall be a liability of the registered person making the supply and subject to the provision of this Act relating to accounting and payment shall become due at the time of supply. Provided that where the taxable supply involves a sale or an auction of goods or recover unpaid debt to enforce or give effect to a security charge or encumbrance, tax on the taxable supply shall, subject to the provision of this Act, be the liability of the debtor. Honorable Chair, as you may, for example, if a credit lending entity recovers an item from a security item from you, so maybe it was a motor vehicle, then the sale of that item is a vatable transaction. So this now, the creditor wants to recover the debt that they advanced you. And therefore now we are requiring that the debtor be the one who is eligible to pay for the tax payable for that particular good when now it's being auctioned or repossessed from the debtor. So we are taking the obligation from the creditor to the debtor. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose a question that new clause 30A be read a second time. This is Honorable Mboko.
It's important that, Chair, you come back and clarify the real importance of that process, because you are now transferring the tax to be paid by the debtor.
Thank you.
So that the country and ourselves, especially me, I may understand how beneficial this will be. Thank you, Chair.
Member for Nandi.
Honorable Chair, I think Mwalimu Mboko Milema has been able to prosecute my concern as well, because, Honorable Chair, looking at it, it looks like the person who was not even able to settle their bills or their debts is again added a further liability of paying the taxes that is owed by the taxing institution. So, Honorable Chair, I think the Chair should do us justice to explain it to us so that probably we can get another perspective, because so far the perspective we are getting is an addition of a burden to the person who is already not able to pay their debts.
Member for Samburu West.
Thank you, Chairman. I do not understand the import at all of this amendment, Chairman, because the creditor will probably sell whatever needs to be sold and will be able to recover not only the amount that was owed, but including even profit, whatever, they'll get more than probably what, because maybe what you used as a guarantee will be sold at a more expensive, they will receive more money. And then the person who was not able to pay that loan or debt is now being told, pay tax, you pay tax. So I don't understand how KRA will be able to raise money from this. It should just continue to be the creditor, so that when they're disposing whatever asset it is, they factor in the tax. So it is important for the chairman to explain this, otherwise I will definitely oppose.
The Honorable, I don't want a debate on this matter, because the question is the same. She should just clarify to us. The member for Dagoretti North.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just to understand. You see, when you bring in such a proposal, you must start asking yourselves who are normally the debtors and who are the creditors. I think that is what every Kenyan will be trying to ask he or herself. what does this come? Because I'll put it, for example, mortgage. This can be very well also misused in many, many assets, not just small assets we are looking at, but a bank can really go rogue using this. Yeah.
Chairman, all they're saying
clarity.
So you are paying the auctioneer's fee, you've paid the debt. Then they put all this together, then you carry the tax on all this. Is that the position, and why must that happen? That's the question.
So maybe let us start from the time when a credit entity issues a loan to a debtor. The issue of that loan is exempt. So the issue of that loan, when they are loaning you for this to buy your asset, then that is an exempt transaction. Then you default, for whatever reason, to honor your obligation. But there was a collateral in which now you're being advanced, and which transaction was exempt. But now we are telling now the creditor that when now they dispose of these assets to pay off this obligation, that is a taxable transaction. So it means that when they were advancing the payment to you, it was at a quote unquote a cheaper rate because it was exempt. But now when they are trying to recover the costs, then you're requiring them to pay VAT on that particular transaction, which now makes it difficult for them to recover the cost of the loan that they advanced to you. And therefore they're saying that now that it is the obligation now to pay that particular transaction should fall on the defaulter and not on the financing transaction. But in terms of whether that can be abused, Honorable Chair, there is very good safeguards on principles of credit lending, where where the interest should not be more than the principal amount that was loaned to an entity. And therefore, even though there is merit in what members are raising, I think that can be cured administratively by making sure that the cost does not fall more than the cost of that particular item to the loanee, Honorable Chair.
But just order. The issue is raised that what about if the money given in the first instance is exempt, but now they're taxing it because it's done interest? Probably that's the reason they're now taxing it. It's done interest, and this interest is included in what is being recovered. Anyway, go on, Honorable Wundo.
I see a practical challenge in implementing this particular clause. Very practical challenge. And I want the chair to listen, and his technical team, I want them to listen. Assume you have taken a mortgage on a property. You have taken a mortgage on a property. At disposal, in the event you default, the Land Act clearly states that the property should not be sold less than 75% of the value, of the market value. Assume you have been servicing and you defaulted. It's already capped at 75%. That 75% presupposes that the bank should absorb all the attendant costs in respect of the same transaction, to an extent that they don't expect the owner of the property, the borrower, again to go into his pocket to service the outstanding debt. That's the implication.
Thank you.
So that we avoid a case where auctioneers at the banks used to collude and fleece members. Here again, you are bringing this into the arrangement. Thank you.
Member for Samburu West.
Thank you, Chairman. And having listened to the Chairman of the Finance Committee, it is even better to put the tax before, so that because he has said that it was exempt, you are not paying the tax. It is better for the debtor to know what they're getting themselves into, but not after they are unable to pay, Chairman. And so, and also it doesn't make sense Is it the creditor who will give the debtor the money so that they pay the tax? You can't overburden that debtor who is not able. So I oppose.
The honorable member for Kitui Central.
You know, Honorable Chairperson, we are addressing a very serious matter here and very simple. What we are saying is, by the time you get to be auctioned, financially you have serious challenges. Now imagine a situation where, Honorable Chairperson, I'm being auctioned and my car has been taken to be sold and then I've been told to pay tax. It really makes it very complicated. So in terms of implementation, Honorable Chairperson of Finance, I think this amendment you need to get it out of the order paper. Let's think through it and then you can bring it later. I think that it will be helping the country.
Thank you, members. I now propose a question that the new clause 30A be now read a second time. Will ask many other opinion. Chair, what's the problem?
So Honorable Chair, listening to honorable members raise their concerns about this particular matter, I think this is a proposal that needs a bit more rethinking. And therefore, I beg to withdraw this particular amendment. And now we consult further so that we make sure that we do not disadvantage an already disadvantaged defaulter on this particular proposal.
Yeah, that's
so I beg to drop this particular amendment.
Chairman, that's how someone earns the title honorable. Yeah, well done. I therefore note for records that the new clause 30A is hereby withdrawn. Next clause.
New clause 36A.
All members, I propose a question that the new clause 36A is to be moved for second reading by the chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 36A be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, this, as you may recall, we used to have, I think it's called AFCO, the entity that used to supply goods and services to our great men and women in uniform. However, this has since changed to Defense Forces Welfare Services. Honorable Chair, and therefore, this is in line with the amendments we made in December in our tax amendment clause to now provide that services and goods being offered to our women and men in uniform be exempt from taxes, Honorable Speaker. And this also includes also accommodation, restaurant, and beauty salon, and laundry services that are offered by Defense Forces Welfare Services, so that we continue to incentivize these great men and women who offer their entire life to serve this particular country, Honorable Speaker. Also, 36 is also providing is a subsequent amendment for the manufacture of mosquito repellents, as I had moved earlier. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this now clause 36A be now read a second time.
I propose the question, honorable members, that the new clause 36A be now read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 36A be now read a second time. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I propose a question that the new clause 36A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 36A be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Excise Duty Act, Cap 472, Clause 38.
Members, I propose a question that clause 38 be part of the bill. Move your amendment, Chair. 38.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 38 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment, these are proposed amendments of paragraph 2, by adding the words proposed definition of digital marketplace and substituting therefore the following new definition. Digital marketplace means an online or electronic platform which enables users to sell or provide services, goods, or other property to other users. Honorable Chair, this is providing clarity to the definition of digital marketplace.
Thank you. All members, I propose a question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 38 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 39, 40, and 41.
Honourable members, I propose a question that clauses 39, 40, and 41 be part of the bill. And because there are no amendments to those clauses, I put the question that clauses 39, 40, and 41 be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 42.
Remember, I propose a question that clause 42 be part of the bill. Chair, you are amending clause 42.
Honourable Chair, I beg to move that clause 42 be amended as per the order paper. Honourable Chair, this is providing clarity on particular clauses. You know, one of them is differentiating between imported table eggs and imported eggs that are used for a chicken, for hatching our chicken. Honourable Chair, this also relates to, is also providing different rates, including imported cartons and boxes and paper and imported glass bottles and float gas, Honourable Speaker. So this particular clause is providing for different rates for all these particular products, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Chair, this is one of the steps that we're saying we must be selfish as a country. That we cannot continue to grow our economy if we become a supermarket. That we must make consistent steps in growing and incentivizing our manufacturing sector. One of these proposals, Honourable Chair, is introducing incentives for local manufacture of cartons that are used for packaging of tea and coffee. As I explained, Honourable Chair, one of the greatest challenges we've been having with the price of our tea and coffee is because we have not built capacity or incentivized our sectors enough to manufacture the packaging materials that are used to package our tea and our coffee. And therefore, we end up exporting our tea and coffee at a very cheap rate, Honourable Chair, in gunias, only for them to end up in our neighboring countries, in Sri Lanka and Dubai, become packaged and come back at almost 1,000 times more than the cost of these particular items. Therefore, we give a very low yield to our farmers, Honourable Speaker, when you have just few people who are just importing our raw materials and bringing them back at exorbitant prices, making all the profit. I beg to move, Honourable Chair.
All members, I propose the question that clause 42 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honourable Member for Samburu West.
Thank you, Chairman. I do support. Value addition is very important for us as a country, as it will increase the yields, as it has been said, and so I support.
Members, I put the question, therefore, that clause 42 amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. And I put the question, members, that clause 42 was amended to be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 40A.
Members, when the mover move the new clause 40A for second reading.
Honourable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 40A be now read a second time. Honourable Chair, during public participation, I'll give an example of one entity that came to our committee. They are called Koru Ram. This is a manufacturer based in Koru, in Muhoroni, who converts sugarcane into methanol and prepares a fantastic ram. However, Honourable Chair, for the last 4 years, despite them setting up a plant, they have never been operational. Because the costs of something called a flow meter, that is a requirement of Kenya Revenue Authority, costs in excess of, I think it's 25 million shillings. And therefore, you are requiring a micro brewer who is using our raw materials and creating employment, keeping them without a license for 4 years, because you're requiring them to have a flow meter that costs 25 million shillings. And therefore, but when we tasked KRA, they said, no, it's a fault in the law. And therefore, now we provided for this particular exemption, that now is going to exempt these micro distillers from the requirement to have that particular kind of flow meter, so that we can have other alternative macro and cottage industries that can use locally made materials, Honorable Speaker, as an alternative to the killer brews that we have in this country, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move.
Thank you. More members, I propose a question, therefore, that the new clause 40A be now read a second time. The Honorable Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, if there is any amendment that is very powerful in this finance bill, it is this particular amendment.
Because of RAM?
Yes, because of the RAM, Honorable Chair. And I'm speaking as someone who has seen our distillers in Nyamira County making wine out of bananas and sugarcane, and how much they have put a lot of creativity into it. So, Honorable Chair, this particular one I support with every fiber of my bone.
Members, I put the question. What is out of order? It's just RAM. The honorable member for this is the majority whip or minority whip. Okay, the BBG whip. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's a rule in this House that members must declare interest. Can Honorable Mayaka declare personal interest on this issue? On this amendment, which she says is the most important in the finance bill, can she declare interest?
She did already. She said she's kissy. The Honorable Kaluma.
Chair, thank you for the opportunity. Chair, the reasons given by the chair are very good. Very good. But so that we don't appear to be favoring just some sectors, have we done an overview of all sectors which are similarly affected, so that we don't just go for one or two?
Thank you.
Yeah, and if so, where are those others?
Honorable Chair, there's a question. Order. Honorable Majority Leader, Majority Leader allow us to proceed for a minute. Order. Allow us to proceed for a minute before you go back to this. Just respond to this question, then you can go back to him. This question is, are there other sectors that have been identified the way you've identified the RAM one?
So I just gave that an example, and I think I also need to make a clarification. Actually, that amendment refers to the next I'm going to speak to, but this clause 40A is speaking to making what you call restricted items, which only includes ethanol. But what you've seen is that now the guys that make this illicit liquor have become smart. They're not just using ethanol, they're also using methanol. So we are now putting methanol as a restricted product, so that it's from its production all the way to the end is actually observed. But the issue that we are speaking to is actually now in the next amendment, which is also is very crucial. And I just pick Koru Ram as one of the examples. But Honorable Chair, one of the things that we must agree as a House, as a correct way to end the menace of illicit brews, is if we allow other products that are used locally manufactured products into making of liquor, Honorable Chair. We have left the people that want to have a good evening after their nyama choma to very expensive drinks, Honorable Chair. And therefore, the only alternative they have has been this cheap liquor, methanol, less alcohol, Honorable Chair. And you must agree, it's okay that Honorable Chair, you are titatola, which is fine. But we must agree that Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah here likes to enjoy his drink after having his nyama choma, and we must provide him with other alternatives.
Chair, you know where I come from. Chair, you know where I come from. We make the best changa, so it doesn't matter whether I'm titular or not. But so to be clear, order. So just a minute, Chair. So to be clear, 40A is about restricting the importation of methanol. You have to be clear like that. That 40 is about restricting importation of methanol to make so that we're able to use more healthier ways of making our alcohol. Is that okay? All members, I therefore put the question that the new clause 40A be now read a second time. Will ask another opinion say aye. Will ask another opinion say nay. Ayes have it. Members, I propose the question therefore that the new clause 40A be part of the bill. And now put the question that new clause 40A be part of the bill. Will ask another opinion say aye. And last minute the opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 41A.
Honorable Chair, move order. New 41A for.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 41A be now read a second time. And just that we carry the members along, new clause 41 read this as follows. That section 25 of the Excess Duty Act is amended by inserting the following new subsections immediately after subsection 2. Notwithstanding subsection 1A, a licensed micro distiller shall be exempt from the requirement for automation, continuous piping and use of mass flow meters. And 2B, that the production of volume of such a licensed microdistiller shall be ascertained and monitored through the use of excise stamps or such other mechanism as the Commissioner may prescribe by notice in the Gazette. So, Honorable Chair, this is now the matter that we are debating earlier.
You explained it very well.
That now we are requiring that these micro distillers are not required to have a flow meter that costs in excess of 25 million shillings, so that we are able to have an alternative, Honorable Speaker, and end the menace of illicit brews in our country, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
I beg to move.
I propose a question, therefore, that the new clause 41A be now read a second time. The majority leader.
Chair, let me say I support that amendment, but cautiously. And the question is this, Honorable Speaker. Any distiller, whether you call him a small or micro or a big distiller, 25 million shillings for a distillery is not too much to ask. Therefore, I want to ask the chair, because I wish we had restricted that probably to a period of maybe 3 or 4 to 5 years, so that beyond 3 to 5 years, you must install a flow meter. Because the danger is this, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair. And I know the Honorable Kimani Kuri had mixed up his earlier statement when he called you a teetotaler, and I am the teetotaler. And he knows, being an elder of in my church,
You're also mixing up
anything close to alcohol.
You're also mixing issues. I don't take alcohol also.
We are both teetotalers.
So say both of us.
Or he mixed up, he wanted to say the chair and the Kimani Ichung'wa are teetotalers, while the chair of finance enjoys his drink. Because me and you know, my church, if I came anywhere close to these things, I would be excommunicated. But I was saying the danger, Chair, is with stamps. Chair, you know, whether it is cigarettes, whether it is drinking water or alcohol, the affixing of stamps on bottles and cigarette packets has been riddled in the past with a lot of many fake stamps. Many done from China. They are sold in the streets, back streets in downtown Nairobi. Therefore, maybe I would want to ask Chair, maybe in the subsequent bill, we restrict this flow meter business to a period of a maximum of 3 years. After 3 years, anyone who is in business should have made money to install the flow meter. Because a flow meter, you will never cheat. But with stamps, cheating will become the order of the day. So I will support for now, but probably ask the chair, maybe in the next year, to ensure that we restrict that particular provision to be time-bound, maybe to a period of 3 to 5 years. Any business that has operated for 3 to 5 years in the distillery world should be able to make money. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, although it's overtaken by time, let me support the issue of regulating the production of methanol. Because if there is anything that has killed people in this country, especially young people, is consumption of illicit alcohol. The illicit alcohol that is sold to many people in our villages is not ethanol. Most of it is methanol, an industrial alcohol that should never be consumed. Therefore, controlling its production is very commendable, and I thank the committee. Thank you.
The member for Githunguri.
Chair, thank you very much. I rise to give my reservations to the proposal that is made by the Chair regarding flow meters. In as much as I support any effort to regulate illicit alcohol manufacturing in this country, and in as much as we come up with such recommendations like introducing flow meters, we need to be careful. Because we don't know, some of us don't know, and would want to understand from the Chair, these flow meters, how much are they? Is this a heavy investment that will make small businesses not able to afford these flow meters?
He said it's 25 million.
It is 25 million. So it means that once we introduce these flow meters, in as much as we want to discourage the illicit alcohol manufacture in this country, we might force some people out of business, which are legal business. They have been making the right quantity, the right quality of alcohol. 25 million is a hell lot of investment. So how are we going to make sure that we don't force people out of this business?
Thank you.
Number two, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I am worried that in this proposal where the chairman is talking about the commissioner, we are giving commissioner of taxes a lot of powers. And these powers, if they are not checked, they are going to be misused.
Member Poseme. No, this is the last
Chair,
person on this. Please allow me to remove.
As I support these amendments, an issue is coming here, which seems to be an issue of regulation. Why is a flow meter necessary? And if you go back to why would you use methanol if you can use ethanol? So the question that is coming to me we should look at, and then maybe we'll have to look at, is there some regulatory function that is left loose so that we are trying to solve that through taxation, where we would have actually just needed a regulator who would know we need that. So I think that is, Mr. Speaker, that's what I think we should look at in the alcohol industry. How is the regulation done? What are we missing out? I support.
1 minute. Thank you. 1 minute. Honorable Kaluma.
Yeah, I have a question to the chairman. Chairman Finance, I have a question.
Order.
And maybe...
There's a question to the chairman.
Yeah, the chairman needs to follow. My question is this. For those who already have the flow meter, what happens to them? I need to know, because now we're introducing the stamps. Yeah. So will they continue and the stamps or together? You know, it's important to know.
Thank you, Chair. And Chair, before you answer, for the sake of what Honorable Chingwa has said, is there a way, because Kenyans are innovating, can't we get cheaper flow meters? Can that be innovated? Chair, you answer that so that we can make progress.
So thank you, Honorable Chair. And I really share with all the sentiments raised at the floor of this House, including the ones raised by my senior, the leader of majority. So 2B is providing for the production volume of such a licensed microshare shall be ascertained and monitored through the use of accessible stamps. So the issue of accessible stamps is not optional. They must use the accessible stamps. The only matter we are exempting from, and these are the new micro distillers, the ones that are not ready in the market, the ones in the market must continue the flow meters, is now not require them to have that particular flow meter, because as you had explained, the cost of building a micro distillery is around 10 to 15 million. That is the entire capital investment to create a micro distillery. And now you're telling a cottage industry that has already invested 15 million to set up the entire plant that they need to get another 25 million shillings just to have a flow meter. However, the issue of abuse of this particular clause is something that we must also be awoke to as a house. And therefore, one of the recommendations that we should be making in our report and to Kenya Revenue Authority is then where they are not required to have a flow meter, then there needs to be a verifiable way of the use of that, whether it's ethanol on a butcher, which includes technologies such as CCTV. Because the essence of a flow meter is, because methanol and ethanol, with the passage of this law, in addition of methanol, are now controlled products, is to show Company X received 1,000 liters of ethanol. How much liquor did they make from that 1,000 liters of ethanol? So to verify that that ethanol was actually used for the purpose in which it was supposed to be used for and was not leaked into the market now as illicit liquor, Honorable Chair. So we will find a way of now working with, communicating with the Kenya Revenue Authority and requiring these particular entities to provide evidence in a way that KRA can verify, another security agency can verify that this ethanol is actually used for the purpose in which it was acquired, because that is the essence of flow meters, Honorable Chair. And lastly, the issue of innovation. I think this is a business opportunity to any Kenyan who is listening to this particular conversation. A flow meter cannot be costing 25 million shillings. It just means that there could be some monopolies in that particular sector that is against the price so that they maximize on the returns. And therefore, if you're able to have cheaper alternatives, then that will be the best for the country.
All members, I now put the question, therefore, that the new clause 40, the new clause, we will have to make progress. There's a chance, order, there's a chance for you to contribute in the next phase of this. I put the question that the new clause 41A be now the second time. Will ask another opinion say aye? Will ask another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new clause 41A be part of the bill. The Honorable Thuku, quickly.
Chair, thank you. On the same issue, you see, who is the merchant of these flow meters? Because this a pertinent question that has been asked. Are there no cheaper meters, flow meters for the same? Chair, we have been using stamp duties. Where are we moving? Is it that we cannot enhance that technology as opposed now to this kind of investment that is proposed? Because honestly, if you're talking about...
What is proposed?
The flow meter.
They're removing it. They're not introducing it.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, we would wish to know, we have installed this accessible goods management system. There's an installation in KRA of accessible goods management system. Why can't we just enhance that system instead of bringing in new amendment into the same? I think we need to relook deeper into this issue. We may not get a foolproof system whereby now we are going to account for the methanol or ethanol that has gotten into some industry or factory, and therefore I think to some extent I have reservation on this one.
Honorable Kaluma, quickly.
Yeah, Chair, I'm just seeking a clarification. I understand the flow meter, and I would request the majority leader to listen to me, to be a requirement.
It's not the move of this.
It's a requirement, Chair, so that you regulate the amount of these alcoholic products you unleash to the market, and to enable also the distillers to account for whatever they produce and unleash. And so there is a social good that it is playing. To date, I understand the chair to be saying that we want to create a pathway around which even distillers who have not installed the so-called flow meter can operate. That is what I understand him to be saying. And if that is the direction, then number one, I will oppose this provision. Because number two, for that societal good that we need to regulate what is going and account for them around alcohol, the reason as to why we impose, excise, tax. But number for the other reason, Chair, that we will be creating disparities. Some people have incurred costs, installed these flow meters. You are allowing others to enter the market without installing them. But ultimately, I wanted to make something which I'm making as the last point, Chair, if you would permit. Chair, when you come with a finance bill, there is the amount of money you target to raise. So unless we are explaining the amount of money we are costing the government in terms of revenue loss, we should not accept amendments.
All members, I put the question, therefore, that the new clause 41A be part of the bill. Will ask another opinion say aye? Aye. Will ask another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C.
Honorable members. Honorable Chair, move these three clauses for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 42A, 42B, and 42C be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, 42A and 41 and 42, so 42A is seeking to impose a 5% excess duty on amounts deposited in a customer's wallet. And this amendment is seeking to impose excess on fees charged on transaction by virtual asset providers. So two things. When you're placing a bet, the current acquisition regime is, say you have money on your mobile wallet, whether it's M-Pesa or Airtel Money. And then you transfer that money to the wallet of the betting company. So the time of charging of excise duty is when you place a bet, when that money already is placed in the wallet of the betting institution. Now we are changing that to now making this excise duty to be payable when you transfer money from your mobile wallet to the betting company wallet. So this has this impact. There are so many institutions that operate virtually, for example, outside the country, and therefore we're not able to get this excess duty from them. But now it means that every time you transfer money from their mobile wallet to the wallet of the betting company, then that is a time when excess duty is paid. And secondly is, again, as a question amendment to what we provided earlier on excess duty now being paid for virtual assets on transaction fee and not the transaction amount. 42B is defining the term amount deposited in the customer's wallet, as I have explained. And 42C is again as a constitutional amendment that I had spoken to earlier about accessible services offered by Kenya Defence Forces Welfare Services. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose the question that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be now read a second time. Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, 42C talks about the Defence Forces welfare again. And I was, even though we supported the earlier amendment, I know, you know, Honorable Chairperson, these things we used to call kafoka out there, they are not exclusive. When they are in the barracks, they are somewhat exclusive because for you to access them, you have to go through some vetting. So when they're out there, and anybody can access them, I'm wondering whether we will not be causing market imbalances. Because imagine, Honorable Chairperson, you have your own restaurant in a town, and you have one in your town, and they're enjoying these tax benefits. It means their prices are going to be cheaper and all that. So even though we are supporting, I think we need to be a bit cautious to ensure that we don't cause market imperfections and then end up killing some business in the locality.
Thank you. Well, members, I now propose the question that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be now read a second time. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I propose the question, members, that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clauses 42A, 42B, and 42C be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Tax Procedure Act, Cap 469B, clauses 43, 44, 45, and 46.
Members, I propose a question that clauses 43, 44, 45, and 46 part of the bill. There being no amendments to those clauses, members, I put the question that clauses 43, 44, 45, 46 be part of the bill. Will last minute of opinion say aye? Will last minute of opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 47.
I propose the question that clause 47 is part of the bill. Chairperson. Clause 47.
42D. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 47 be amended as per the order paper. This amendment is seeking to remove the restriction from appealing. So, Honorable Chair, this clause 47 is again one of the clauses that was highly contested during public participation. Because when you go to, when you appeal, for example, for your tax, you're given a tax assessment and then you go to appeal to it, then this particular proposal was requiring for you to pay, this particular provision currently in law disallows KRA from issuing an agency notice where you have appealed the decision for your assessment by KRA. But now, Treasury was seeking to delete that clause, which means that once you've been issued with an assessment, even before you appeal, then they could issue an agency notice to you. So we agree with the members of the public, and that's why we are proposing to delete this particular clause.
All members, I propose a question that clause 47 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 47 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will last minute of the opinion say aye? Will last minute of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that clause 47 as amended be part of the bill. Will last minute of the opinion say aye? Will last minute of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 48 and 49.
All members, clauses. I propose the question that clauses 47, 48, and 49 be part of the bill. These ones have no amendments, members. I therefore put the question that clauses 48 and 49 be part of the bill. Will last minute of the opinion say aye? Will last minute of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 50.
Members, I propose a question that clause 50 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, you got an amendment to clause 50.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 50 be amended as per the other paper. This amendment is seeking to allow for offset of value-added tax payable on imports. So, Honorable Chair, this again came from public participation from especially our manufacturers that said, when they import raw materials for value addition, and those raw materials are subject to VAT, then they're not being allowed to claim that input VAT on the imports, Honorable Chair, when they are computing their output tax. And therefore, we agreed with the manufacturers so that we try to grow our manufacturing sector, and that's the import of this particular amendment, Honorable Chair.
Remember, I propose a question that clause 50 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 50. Chairman Budget, what is itching you?
Chairman, I want to oppose that amendment.
Which one?
That amendment where we are zero rating the raw materials.
Go ahead.
Chairman, okay, I wanted to make an observation, Chairman, even before we go on. That point which was raised by Kaluma, where we are questioning zero rating of some or most of these items.
There's no Kaluma in this house, member. Is this
Honorable Kaluma?
It is Honorable
Kaluma. Honorable Kaluma, I would like to ask my counterpart, the Chairman of Finance, that at least we really quantify some of these things. I want to know the implication of the amendments in terms of revenue losses. I would like, Chairman, that we go that direction so that any amendment that is brought before us, if it has an impact on raising revenue or lowering or cutting revenue, we need to know. Because otherwise, Honorable Chair, I'm going to move the appropriations bill here. And you will see, Honorable Chair, that one of the struggles we are going to face is on revenue-raising measures. So I would like you to, through your chair, to help us count for the amendments and what impact do they have in terms of revenue-raising.
Now, I'm going to allow Chair to respond to that, but only on this clause. On any other clauses, I will request the Chair of Finance and the Pair Budget to sit and speak together. We can't have this on the floor of the House. It never happens. It's never happened. I won't allow it to happen. Chair Finance and Chair Budget must consult before any of this. So, okay, the Honorable Member for Cases. What is out of order? Before you respond, Chair.
No, I just wanted to support my chair by informing you that we've taken care of that,
okay,
as you've advised accordingly.
Okay.
Being a member of the committee.
Chair Finance. Chair Finance.
So Honorable Chair, I totally understand where the Chair of Budget Committee is speaking from. But we must desist from using the finance bill as just a tool for raising revenue. The finance bill should inform policy for our country. And for this, our committee has stood aground on several matters. We have a national tax policy that informs that we must have consistent laws and consistent legislation. We granted some of these exemptions in December. 4 months, 5 months later, we are taking back what we said. Welcome to a country Go invest in a company in Siaya, in Homa Bay. You'll get investment deduction if you invest outside Nairobi and Mombasa. Someone took a loan of 10 billion and is setting up a factory in Homa Bay, a factory in Siaya, a factory in Nakuru. 6 months later, you're telling no. Because we're going to lose revenue here, you cannot continue to invest there. We must be consistent. There are two ways of collecting revenue. You can extrapolate and say, if you delete this, this is how much you lose. It is true. For example, the reintroduction of investment deduction for investment outside Nairobi and Mombasa would definitely lead to a consequential, the foregone taxes that we might have collected. But what is the far-reaching effect? That company sets up in Nakuru, in Siaya, in Kisumu, in Homa Bay, in Samburu, will employ people, they are going to pay as you want. Will make a profit, they are going to pay corporation tax. We must not be short-sighted in views of looking for numbers at the expense of making our country competitive globally.
Okay, but I advise that chair budget and chair finance. Chair finance, I order that you and the chair budget must consult so that we don't have this kind of situation again. I want to put the question. I want to put the question. But we're not doing policy. Go ahead. No, I don't want debate on these matters. The Honorable Member for Seme.
Chair, what you're listening to is a very, very major policy issue. When the finance bill comes to us, it follows the budget. So the budget has been read and we know we are going to raise so much revenue. The finance bill is the mechanism for raising that revenue. And one would expect that there was an earlier consideration, and that is how we reached this finance bill, so that we'll raise that revenue. If now comes out that actually there was no consultation earlier, so that the chair of finance and the chair of the budget don't agree, then we are not sure what you are saying, that in the future, we are actually going to have a problem with our revenue.
Thank you. The member for Odhaya.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Chair Finance. Chair, the same way, what the Chair is saying is people have already started investing because of the relief that of taxes. The same way, can he protect the people who have invested here? You are the levy, people have borrowed money, have invested, have planned to do business, then you are the levy. The plan which was there was based by the policy of the country. And then, when you have started doing business, already you have invested, you have planned, you have consulted, you have already bought the machine, you are the levy without consulting the country. You are killing the people, the same thing you are protecting those people investing today. Protect the same people, Chair Finance. The people who have invested, the people who have already invested, before you add the policy, shake those people first.
Thank you. The Honorable Majority Leader. Majority Leader. And this is the last word on this.
Chair, I think that matter is more or less settled between the two chairs. But I just want to say, we should not be worried. This is the beauty of democracy. The chair finance is protecting his staff. The chair budget is protecting the expenditure side. Just the revenue mobilizer is protecting the revenue mobilization. And I know the chair budget also has a stake in the revenue that is raised, because he will not expend anything without the revenue being raised by Honorable Kimani. However, the two of them, the two chairs, have one common person between them, which is the National Treasury, that now will balance the expenditure side and the revenue side. So we shouldn't be worried.
And they serve one country. I propose the question, honorable members. I put the question of members that I put the question. I now put the question. There is nothing questionable about this. No order. Let me listen to Honorable Kaluma. Let me listen to you. Just get your point first. But Honorable Kaluma, can you raise your point?
Kaluma, you have the microphone.
It's not going anywhere.
Honorable
members,
Honorable Speaker.
It wasn't your chance, Honorable Mili. It was not your chance.
Honorable Chair, I'm standing under the provisions of Article 114, sub-Article 2.
Order, members, order. Honorable Kaluma, you have 1 minute to prosecute this.
No, but Chair,
No,
there
go
are
ahead.
consultations
go
in front of me.
Go ahead. You were part of that consultation.
Why don't you give me order?
You were part of this 30 seconds.
I was
ago.
not.
Order, members. Go ahead.
Yes, I thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, my position is that the finance bill is a money bill under Article 114. And the finance bill having been brought, the requirement of sub-Article 2 is that if any amendments are to be proposed, the concurrence or consultation of the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary must be sought. Could we have confirmation that that happened now that the Chair of Budget and Appropriation and the Chair in charge of Finance and National Planning are appearing not to be in agreement?
Thank you.
Yes.
A very simple matter, Honorable Kaluma. That is not for this House to decide. These amendments we're prosecuting were approved by the Speaker of this House. That is the only confirmation you need, and you have the confirmation. I now put the question, members, that clause 50 as amended be part of the bill. Will I spend another opinion say aye? Will I spend another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 52.
Members, I propose the question that clause 52 part of the bill. Sorry, members, just 1 minute, Honorable Chair. Clause 51 first.
Yeah, clause 51.
I propose the question that clause 51 is part of the bill. Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, beg to remove that clause 51 be amended as per the order paper. Clause 51 of the bill be amended in the proposed subsection 7b, by deleting the words computed and subbing therefore with the words computed from. This amendment, Honorable Chair, is just a cleanup.
Members, I propose the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I put the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Spend other opinion say aye. And spend the opinion say nay. Ayes have it. And I put the question that clause 51 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 52.
Members, I propose the question that clause 52 be deleted. Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 52 be deleted as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, clause 52, as in the bill, was reads as follows: Section 59A of the Tax Procedures Act amended by deleting subsection 1B. So, Honorable Chair, this is a discussion that came from public and intense public participation, and I want to bring to the comfort of this House and to the members of the public, this is one of the areas that we debated a lot as a committee, and we agreed that we cannot allow, Honorable Speaker, this amendment, and therefore we are proposing its deletion. This was a proposal that was now removing the restriction. And Honorable Chair, allow me just to take 3 minutes to take you through this proposal.
You have one.
Section 59A of the Tax Procedures Act reads as follows: Data management and reporting system. The commissioner may establish a data management and reporting system for the submission of electronic documents, including detailed transaction data relating to the documents. Then 1A, that the commissioner may by notice in writing require permission to integrate the electronic tax system authorized under section 75 to the system referred to in subsection 1 of the for the purpose of submission of electronic documents, including detailed transaction data in the precise form. So this therefore means, Honorable Chair, that the commissioner has powers to require you to integrate your system with that of Kenya Revenue Authority. However, in the wisdom of this House, it provided for another section 1B, which reads as follows: the commissioner shall not, know the words, shall not require a person to integrate or share data relating to A, trade secrets, and B, private or personal data held on behalf of the customers or collected in the course of business. Now, this clause 52 was proposed to delete 59(1)B, which was now excluding that when you are integrate, that the commissioner will not require you to integrate data relating to 1, trade secrets, and 2, private and personal data. All the members of the public that appeared before us said that that provision needs to be deleted. Okay. And we agree with the members of the public that this particular provision be deleted. It goes against our constitutional right to privacy and goes even against our other laws on data, on data and privacy, Honorable Chair.
Members, I propose a question, therefore, that clause 52 be deleted. I put the question, that clause 52 be deleted. Will so many other opinions say aye? Will so many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 53.
Members, I propose that clause 53 be part of the bill. Because there's no amendment on it, I put the question that clause 53 be part of the bill. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 54.
I propose a question of members that the clause 54 be deleted.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 54 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, the tax amendment, again, the tax procedures amendment bill, act now, or bill that we did in this Honorable Chair, sought to exclude weekends and public holidays when calculating time. Now, the Treasury now wanted to bring back the issue that of not excluding weekends and weekdays and public holidays in calculation of time. We disagree with National Treasury and agree with the members of the public that we need to exclude weekends and public holidays in calculation of the time when you're supposed to either reply to the commissioner or submit particular data to KRA.
Thank you. All members, I propose a question that clause 54 be deleted. I now put the question that clause 4 be deleted. As many of the opinions say aye, and as many of the opinions say nay. Ayes have it.
Clauses 55 and 56.
All members, I propose that clauses 55 and 56 be part of the bill. Because there are no amendments there, members, I put the question that clauses 55 and 56 part of the bill. Will as many of the opinions say aye? Will as many of the opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 42D.
Honorable Chair, new clause 42D for second reading.
Clause
42D. The new clause 42D for second reading.
Honorable Chair, beg to move that new clause 42D be now read a second time. So, Honorable Chair, this clause is seeking to define what we are calling certificate of origin. So, Honorable Chair, this is meant to cure a mischief that happens. So, when some goods are being imported into the country, they are declared as raw materials. Honorable Chair, only for you to realize they are actually finished products. And a good example has been in edible oils, where some scrupulous business people have been importing edible oils as a finished product, but declaring it as a semi-processed or raw material, Honorable Chair. And therefore, this has led to a lot of leakage in terms of our revenue, Honorable Speaker. So we are now requiring that during, Honorable Chair, the leader of majority party is naming some names, which I want to request to him to adhere to our standing orders when they need to name names in this house, Honorable Chair. So this now will require them that they must present a document from the certificate of origin certified by credible institutions to show what cargo is coming to this country. And this will cure now the issue of misdeclaration at our points of entry, Honorable Chair. I beg to...
All members, I propose the question therefore, that the new clause 42D be now read a second time. Honorable Owundo.
Chair, I strongly support with this amendment. And this, Chair, is also trying to enhance the amendments that we did on the business laws bill in December, that made amendments to the Standards Act on the issuance of certificate of origin. Secondly, Chair, it also cures a very interesting mischief, whereby, and this, Chair, I say so, we have been interacted with this SEPA between Kenya and UAE, United Arab Emirates. The fear is that we are going to have those countries that don't manufacture anything as conduits to bring goods manufactured elsewhere to flood our market. So insisting on certificate of origin means that we must confirm if you are importing, that product must have been manufactured in that country.
Thank you.
It's not on transit.
Don Bonkatha. Oh, remember, I cannot see your card. Go ahead. I don't know. What's her name?
Thank you, Chair. For us to support our local manufacturers, I support this amendment by the Chair, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Kaluma, what's that?
Let me support this amendment. Chair, these are the kinds of amendments we need in the finance bill. We are losing a lot. And so one of the reasons why we have this finance bill this year is to entrench tax efficiency and accountability.
Thank you.
And this is one such provision. And Chair, let me thank you. Since you allowed us to intervene, the Chair is now explaining these things in the details that
Thank you
enables
so
the
much,
country
members.
to get them.
I now put the question that the new clause 42D being read a second time. Last many of the opinion say aye. Last many of the opinion say nay. Ayes have it. I propose the question, members, that the new clause 42D be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 42D be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
New clause 49A.
Honorable Chair, move the new clause 49A for second reading.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that new clause 49A be now read a second time. Again, this is bringing even more clarity to the issue that I spoke earlier, that is providing for the details that should be provided for in the certificate of origin, which includes the following: name and address of the exporter, name and address of the importer, port of origin, accurate description of the goods, keyword here, accurate, quantity of the goods, country of origin and country of destination. And we are saying that any person who contravenes this provision commits an offense and shall have their goods seized or forfeited to the commissioner or another officer in accordance with this act. Honorable Speaker, this therefore amendment is seeking to provide clear details of what are you importing, so that we avoid this issue of some manufacturers importing finished products in this country, declaring them as raw materials, getting exemptions only for them to just repackage them and sell them like they are manufacturing in our country. I beg to move on, Honorable Chair.
Oh, members, I propose a question. Order. I propose a question that the new clause 49A be now read a second time.
Thank you, Chair. This is a very important amendment. Actually, not just for manufacturers to declare what it is that they are importing. COC is a very important document, even in terms of making sure that substandard stuff is not imported into this country. Therefore, I really support this amendment, and I believe it's enforced only that now these details have not been well captured. Now that the details are captured, we are going to rid off any kind of substandard importations.
Thank you. This requires very keen eyes in implementation. Oh, members, I therefore put the question that the new clause 49A be now read a second time. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I propose the question therefore, members, that the new clause 49A be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 49A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Provisions relating to the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, Cap 496C, Clause 57.
Members, I propose that clause 57 be part of the bill. And